If you want to support the work I'm doing, there's a link in the description to my Subscribe Star. Appreciate that. Okay, in the last video, we talked about the major chords, Form 1 major chords down here on the lower part of the neck, first 3 frets. This is a C major scale, and I'm just going to do a little recap here. As we move up the neck of the guitar, playing a C major scale, you can see that there's 5 different forms. They're based on the pentatonic. There's 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, but all of the 7 note major scales, they fit into these same forms. So there's 5 of them, and we're just going to be dealing with the one at the bottom, first 3 frets. Okay, now if you remember in the last video, we talked about the most basic chord is a triad, and it's all based on the major scale. So we start with the first note, 1, 3, 5. The first note, the third note, and the fifth note, that's a basic triad. And then to add some color to it, we started with we take this high 1. So if you use 1, 3, 5, and then 1, you're basically still playing the triad. You only have 1s, 3s, and 5s in there. So this is what we ended up with. We got rid of everything that wasn't a 1, 3, and 5. So we have 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. So there's 2 1s and 2 3s. And then we added the 7th, and so now we've got the voicing of it as 1, 3, 5, 7. So 1, the first, third, 5, 7, and 1. Okay, so we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 3. So we've got 2 3s in this one as well. And then we did the dominant 7th chord. We just took the 7 and dropped it down. To see, this 7 would be right here. So this would be C. Okay, like if we were going to go to because this is an open note, to get to the next note, let's just put this on here. So that's 1. So we move that down to, if we move that down to 7, so we've got 7 here. Now if we move this note to here, then it's a flat 7. Okay. So this is the form we're talking about. So now we've got 1, 3, flat 7, 1. And you notice that we don't have a 5 in here because we had to get rid of it to accommodate having the flat 7. Then the next note down would be the 6th. So we have 1, 3, 5, 6. Well, again, the 5 would be right here. We had to get rid of that in order to accommodate having the 6. Okay? And then we messed with one of the extensions, the 9. So a 9 is the same as a 2, 11 is the same as a 4, 13 is the same as a 6. Okay, so we built a C major 9. So basically it's a C major 7, so it would be 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 9. Well, we have 1, here's a 3, here's a 5, 7, and then the 9 is the same as a 2. So we just put it here, and this is what the chord sounds like. It's a nice chord. If just to play some other, that's also a C major 9, and this is a C major 9. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on that because we're actually really doing the minor chords now. We're doing the minor versions of these. Okay, so the only difference between a major chord and a minor chord is the third. Instead of having 1, 3, 5, we have 1 flat 3, 5, and so like, all chords, the way we spell the chords and the naming, for naming purposes, it's all based on the major scale. So we're going to call this a flat 3. So 1, flat 3, 5. So let's build a basic minor, a C minor triad. So I put the name of the chord right here, C minor. So all we want is 1, 3s, and 5. So we're going to get rid of everything that's not a 1, 3, or 5. Okay, so I'm just going to start getting rid of all these notes here. And this 5 up here, I haven't really talked about that. Yeah, that's part of the chord, but we're going to use that later, so just ignore that for now. So get rid of the 2, get rid of the 6, get rid of this 4. So we have 1, 3, and then we have 5. Let's get rid of this 2 here. And we'll get rid of the 7. Okay, so we have 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. Okay, well, first of all, this is a minor chord, so we have to take this 3 and we have to flat it. So we're going to get rid of this 3 and move it down a half a step. So now we have a flat 3. Whoops, let's do a different color here. Okay, that's a flat 3. So now we have 1, flat 3, 5, 1. Oh, we have a 3 there. That's a major third, so we can't use that, so we need to ditch that. And then you're going to have to mute this E string with your index finger. So the way that we would play this chord on the guitar is, okay, here's C, there's 1, and then here's the 3, so we're just going to flat that. 1, flat 3, and then an open G is 5, and then we're going to put this second finger on the 1. Okay, now this is kind of a stretch between these, so I'm going to use my pinky here, and this is how I'm going to, that's how I'm going to finger that chord. And just play the inside 4 strings, okay? Okay, now we're going to start with the 4-note chords. And so like if we, so basically we have 1, 3, 5, 1 flat 3, 5, and then this 1 is at the top. See, 1 flat 3, 5, and 1. So now we're going to start moving this note chromatically down, okay? So now we're going to use the 7th now. So we want 1 flat 3, 5, 7. So let's get rid of all the notes that we don't need. Okay, we'll just start getting rid of these here. We're going to use we want a 7 now, so we're going to get rid of the 1, this high one, because we're using, this is the note that we're moving, okay? Let's get rid of the 6, get rid of the 4. Okay, so now this is a major third. We need to move that down to minor to flat that, so we have a 1 flat 3, 5, 7. Whoop, got to get rid of this 3 because that's a major. Okay, so this chord, so basically the first chord we played looks like this. Okay, now we're just going to take our second finger off. And this is called C minor major 7 because it's a C minor chord with a major 7th in it, okay? Okay, now we're going to do dominant 7th. Let's get the notes back on here that we need so we can just take them away. Okay, so now we're gonna do a minor 7. So we're gonna get rid of it. So our voicing now, and remember for this chord right here. So if somebody says, "What's the voicing of that chord of this C minor major 7?" It's 1 flat 3, 5, 7. It's because that's the order in which you're playing them on the guitar. Okay, so now we're gonna play a C minor 7. And when it's just a number 7, that means it's a flat 7. I know it's a little weird, but so this is where the 1 is. If we're moving from this open string over to, well, we're moving from this note over to the G string. So that's where 1 is. Okay, we'll get rid of the 1. Now we're going to go to the 7. Okay. So there's the 7. That note is the same as this. Well, we can't go any farther than this because it's an open note, right? So we're going to we want to flat this, so we get a flat 7. Okay, now, so let's get rid of, so our voicing is going to be 1 flat 3, flat 7, no, 1 flat 3, 5, flat 7. Those are the notes that we want. So let's get rid of everything that's not a 1, 3, 5, or flat 7, okay? And we'll talk about the flat third as we go here. So I'm going to get rid of all these. Oh, let's keep this, we're going to keep this 1. Let's get rid of the 7 here because it's a flat 7 we're using. We're going to get rid of that 6th. We're going to get rid of the 5. And we'll get rid of this 4. And get rid of this 2. Now, we want to do a minor chord, so this is a major third. We got to flat that and get rid of that. Put that there. Oh, sorry, different color. There we go. So there's your 1, flat 3. Okay, the 5th would be here, but we have to accommodate the flat 7 on that string. So we're going to ditch the 5 and put the flat 7 in here. And then we'll put the 1 back at the top. And we have to get rid of this. This is a major third, so we can't use that. We need to get rid of that. So you can, so you can bar here. Okay, so this is what that chord looks like. So here's the 1, here's the flat 3, here's the flat 7. Let me do it backwards here. Here's the high 1, flat 7. Like you want to get that flat 3, so I'm just going to bar that. and then 1. That's a nice chord. And you know, this is a common chord that we use all the time. So, okay, so all right, so that's a minor 7th. Now we're going to move this flat 7 down to 6. Okay, so let's get, oh, by the way, let's talk the voicing of this chord. If somebody said, what's the voicing of this chord? Well, the voicing is 1, flat 3, flat 7, 1. 1, flat 3, flat 7, 1. That's the order in which you're playing these notes, okay? Now we're going to go to C minor 6th. So the notes we want to use are 1, 3, 5, and 6, or 1 flat 3, 5, and 6 because it's a minor chord. Well, let's just assume 1, 3, 5, 6 for now, and then we'll change it to minor, okay? So let's get rid of everything we don't need. We only want 1, 3, 5, and 6. We have to add the 6th in here. Let's get rid of that 4. 1, 3, 5. Okay, let's get rid of some of these open notes here that we don't need. See, there's the 5 there, but we need to accommodate the 6. We need to ditch the 5. And it's a 6th chord. We don't want that major 7, so we got to get rid of that. And this is a major 3rd, so we got to get rid of that. All right, now since it's we're doing C minor 6, and that dash, by the way, indicates a minor chord. So we're going to get rid of this 3 and turn that into a flat 3. So now the voicing of this chord is 1, flat 3, 6, 1. And that looks like this. So here's the high 1, here's the 6, and here's the flat 3. So I'm going to bar across here so I can catch the 1 and the flat 3, and then the 1 at the bottom. Okay. So that is a C minor 6th. So the voicing of that chord is 1, flat 3, 6, 1. Okay. All right, now, okay, so now that we've covered these 4 notes, so we've done a triad, and then we covered a 4-note chord. And now if we want to add some extensions here, 9, 13, 9, 11, or 13, let's just try it and see what we come up with. So maybe a C minor major 9. Okay, so we remember a 9 is the same as a 2, so we're going to keep that 2 right there for now. And we'll see how that works out. Let's get rid of everything else. So we want it's a major 7th chords because we have that word major. That means that we want the major 7th. So it's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we want a 1, 3, well, we don't want this 4. We're going to get rid of this. This would be a 9, but we're going to get rid of that. We'll get rid of the 6th because it's a major 7th chord. So we got C. So we got 1. Okay, let's just get rid of what we don't need. It's a major 7. There's the major 7 right there. We need that note, so we're going to get rid of this 1. Okay. Now, this is a 9. This is a 2, so it's the same as a 9. So let's change. Well, first of all, let's turn this into a minor chord. So, because it's supposed to be 1 flat 3 5 7 9. So get rid of this 3. We're going to make this a flat 3. So we got 1 flat 3 5, and there's the major 7, and there's the 9. We need to get rid of that 3 because that's a major 3rd. So here's what's going to happen. In this particular, it's going to be hard to pull this off and have a major 7th in there in this position. Because here's a 9 here, and here's also 1 here. So we have a 9 here. So if we get rid of this, see, if we want this 9, we got to get rid of the flat 3rd. Then we don't have a minor chord anymore. Then we just have like kind of an open. If we get rid of that, we end up with, well, we got 2 9s. But if we want the major 7, let's get rid of that. So we end up with the same chord that we had before, only you can only play the 4 inside. So like if somebody was playing the flat 3rd, like on another instrument, you would only be able to play, Okay, remember, like we did this. Let's go back up to the major chords here. Remember this one here? 1, there's the 9. But we got 1, 3, 5, 7. It's a C major 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. With this, remember this 2 is a 9. And that's a major third right there. Well, if we apply that same logic to this minor chord down here, and we were to add this 3 back in there, well, that doesn't work because that's a major third. So we're going to get rid of that. So someone else, another instrument, would have to be playing the flat third in order for this to sound like a minor chord. But this is what you end up with. Okay? So you could play that while someone else is playing, you know, like they could be playing that, but this would work with that. It's just that you just don't have the flat third in there. So from time to time, you'll use chords like this. That'll work. You just have to kind of analyze it. This is kind of like I don't know. I've heard people refer to it as a neutered chord because it doesn't have a third in it. It doesn't have a third or a flat 3. It's neither a major or a minor chord. And actually these 3 notes right here, they're like that's like a G chord right there. It used to be 1, 3, and 5 of G. So, but the C is in the bass. Anyhow, I'm hoping that this is starting to make some sense. We're gonna leave it at that right now. So these are the Form 1 minor chords. Hope you got something out of this. We're gonna move on to the next video, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.